Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we're going to set this Bava Metzia, daf Mem Dalad. We're going to begin on Mem Dalad Amud Aleph in the middle of the Amud with the new parak, new Mishnah. Hazahav. So we now begin the fourth parak, Hazahav. Koine es hakesef. So when it comes to the din of Mashicha, when it comes to a kinyan, what happens is that you have to pay for something, but that will not be enough for the kinyan to take place. You need to actually have done Mashicha on the merchandise. The question is, if you have gold and silver in exchange for those two items, which one is considered to be the money, and which one is considered to be the merchandise? In other words, in the case of gold versus silver, when we're dealing with gold, that's considered to be the pre. Therefore, says Rashi, Mashichas hazahav. As soon as you pull the zahav, the gold, koines hakesef, labal hazahav. That person now is the owner. And therefore, because of that, since Mashicha was done by the person who owned the silver, he did Mashicha on the gold. So now the original owner of the gold now owns the silver. And therefore, as soon as this person did the Mashicha on the gold, then the other person automatically now owns the silver. And Enu Yachol Aksubo. Rashi says you can no longer change your mind. Avol, says Rashi, Hakesav Enu Koines Zahav. Based on the Mishnah, Hakesav Enu Koines Zahav, the other way around, that if you would do Mashicha on the silver, which is considered to be the money, in that situation, that's not considered to be a kinyan, because you cannot do Mashicha on money. You can only do Mashicha on the merchandise. And therefore, technically, Meikar Din, you can still retract, because Mois Einu Koines. We're going to see at the end of this Mishnah that when monies are exchanged, there's still some element that you shouldn't back down because there's a mishapara. However, technically, if you did, that would still work because it's not considered to be a completed acquisition until Mashiach is done on the merchandise. So again, hazahav koines hakesef, because the zahav is considered to be the merchandise, the pre, and the kesef, the silver, as we're going to see, because it's something in relation to gold, silver is a more used currency more frequently, so therefore it's considered to be the money. Hakesef enu koine es hazahav. However, the other way around, it doesn't work. Now, hanachayshas koines hakesef, hakesef enu koine es hanachayshas. Interestingly enough, that the same thing when it comes to silver, because again, it's the most frequent currency. Therefore, even though if we're dealing with nechoshas, copper, which is less valuable, but in kesef is more valuable, the nechoshas is considered to be the merchandise. So therefore, when you do Mashicha on the nechoshas, on the copper, then that's when the kinyan takes place. But not if you would do Mashicha on the kesef or anything on with the silver. So for that same logic, mos harois koines es hayafos. Let's say you want to exchange good coins versus bad coins. So the good coins, again, is the frequent currency that's used, and therefore that's mamoin. And therefore the Mashicha would have to be done on the bad coins. That once you did Mashicha on the mos harois, then that's the kinyan. But yofos and koines es harois, but not the other way around, because again, the good coins are considered to be mamon, and therefore you don't do Mashiach on the money, you do Mashiach on the merchandise. A simoin, which Rashi says, she'eno of tsura, we're dealing with coins which have no form, there's no picture on these coins, therefore it's not really like currency, it's just more like merchandise, therefore koines hamatbeya. When you would do Mashicha on the Atzimoin, so that's when the kinyan takes place. But if you would do Mashicha on the coins, then you would not acquire this Atzimoin, because again, the Matbeya is the currency in relation to the Atzimoin. But Metaltalin koines hamatbeya, so the din is that when you want to purchase Metaltalin with money, so once you do a kinyan Mashicha on the Metaltalin, then that's it. That's when the kinyan takes place. However, even if you paid, technically that's not enough. You would actually have to have the Mashicha done on the Metaltalin first. And certainly can't do Mashicha on the Matbeya. Zeh klal, kol Metaltalin koinen zeh zeh. All Metaltalin can acquire one another. Ketzad Moshachim in a Peiros. Let's say you did Mashicha on fruit. Let's say you didn't pay for it. It doesn't matter. Once Mashicha was done, in Yachalachsabo, you cannot retract. And therefore, it's considered to be a kinyan. Of course, you have to pay, but the point is you can't change. However, the other way around, let's say you already paid for them, but no Mashicha was done on the fruits, so technically both parties can retract. However, anyone who backs down will receive this curse called a mishapara, which is not good because you're being coupled together with these people in the generation of the flood or the generation of the dispersion. So therefore, it's not a good thing to back down. But Me'ikar Hadin, technically, it's not a kinyan because Mashiach didn't take place, even though monies were exchanged. Rav Shimon adds, Kol sha'kesef biyadai yado hal yoina. Anyone who's the money is in his hands has the upper hand. What does that mean? So Rashi says the last line, V'yasar Rav Shimon l'meimer moicher, the seller, sha'kol biyado, everything is like in his hands, because he's the seller, apparently, and the money was also given to him. He has the money, and he still has the merchandise. Hu diyachal lachserbo. Apparently, he could still retract, even though, again, he was given the money, but he didn't know Mashiach was done on the merchandise. But the buyer is not able to retract anymore. And the Gemara is going to explain that a little bit more. Okay, so now let's understand the Gemara. So Masni lo Rabbi Rav Shimon Berei. So Rabbi was learning and speaking to his son Rav Shimon, and he said Hazahav Kainis Akasa, which is the language of our Mishnah. Which again, silver in relation to gold, silver is considered to be the money, and gold is the merchandise. I learned this when I was a young person, and I learned it the other way around. I originally thought Hakesa Kainis Hazahav. I originally thought the silver was kind of the gold, which means that the silver was considered to be the merchandise and the gold was the money. However, Taksar, I changed my mind, V'tishna lanu, when we learned, V'zikun Nesach, when I got older, Hazav Kanis Akasav, like the Mishnah says. So then one Gemara wonders, what's the thought process of his change from being young to old? Bi'alduse my savar, V'ziknuse my savar. What did he think when he was young? What did he think when he was older? So Bi'alduse savar, when he was younger, when he went against the language of our Mishnah, thinking that silver is the merchandise and gold, for some reason, is the money, because he said that when gold, in comparison to silver, gold is more valuable, and therefore that should be considered to be the money. Silver, which of course is chashiv, but it's not chashiv in comparison to gold. So therefore, havi pera, I consider that the merchandise. And again, you have to do mashicha on the merchandise. So I thought that it was actually the silver that was the merchandise, and that the gold was the money, because gold's more valuable than silver. However, b'zikunuse savar, when I got older, I flipped it around, which is the language of our Mishnah, and I said like this: that kasba, as we continue to memdal mebez the charif. Money is, Rashi says, this, when it comes to silver, it's more used as a currency, like at the end of the first Aliyah in Parshas Chayesara, that he gave money which was easily used. So monies which are more used, that is considered to be mamayin in relation to thing like dahava, even though it's more chashiv, dolei charif. So havi pera. So therefore the gold is actually the merchandise. And therefore again, in a gold-silver exchange, the Mashiach would be done on the gold. So Amar Rav Ashi, he says actually kiel duse mistabra. It's more logical the way that you said it when you were younger, that really the silver should be the merchandise and the gold should be the money. Why? If you read the rest of the Mishnah, so it says that copper is kind of kesef, which means the nechayshis, the copper is the merchandise, and the kesef is considered to be the money. Now, if you want to actually say that silver in relation to gold, we're going to say that the silver is considered to be the merchandise, which is what you said when you were younger. Then that's the reason why now our Mishnah adds and says, yeah, that's true. That's silver compared to gold. That silver is considered to be the merchandise. However, when it comes to copper, to silver, silver becomes the money in that case. Silver changes its status in relation to gold versus copper. So why would that make more sense? The alpha p, that even though the legabi de hava, even though that silver in comparison to gold, parahavi, the gold is considered to be gold is considered to be the money, and the silver is considered to be the merchandise. However, when we compare silver to copper, we say that the silver is actually considered to be money. Why? That makes sense. So there's a change, and there's a logic of why we need to mention that second case of silver in relation to copper. However, the way that our Mishnah cites it is hard to understand why it mentions it, because it's obvious if that would be the case, as the Mishnah says it, and therefore you wouldn't think you would need the case of silver to copper, because hashta. Now, we know that gold has one step up, one quality greater than silver, and that it's more valuable. So therefore, since it's more valuable, you would maybe think that the gold is considered to be the money. Nonetheless, amrit tivahavi, we still say the silver is the money because it is more used. So so when it comes to silver versus copper, obviously the silver is going to be the money because not only is it more valuable, but it's also more used. So why would our Mishnah need to even mention the case of silver versus copper? It would be obvious that the silver is considered to be the money. It must be because when it comes in relation to Zav versus Kesef, the Kesef is actually the merchandise and the Zahav is the money, unlike our Mishnah. And where it says no, that's not necessarily a proof. The reason why it needs to mention by silver versus copper, and therefore why would you think the silver is not the money in this case? Israch. Hani priti, this money. Ba'asra the sagi inhu charifit fei mikasva. Ema tivahavi kamash ema tivahavi. So it's true. Silver is more used and more chashiv. So therefore you think there's no chiddush this way, but it's not true. Because not necessarily in all locations is silver considered to be the most used currency. It's possible that in relation to the cities, possibly copper is used more as an exchange. Since there's some places that actually don't use copper coins at all, therefore copper is considered to be the merchandise. So it's true. Even though it's true that maybe it's possible that we're dealing with copper is more used than silver, even if that is the case, but since copper is not even accepted at all in some places, then certainly we're not going to say that this has the status of, that the copper will have the status of money. Rather, the silver will have the value of money. In fact, Rav Chia, unlike our Mishnah, also felt that the gold was the money, not like our Mishnah. How do we see that Rav Chia also disagreed a bit with our Mishnah? The Rav oiziv dinui mibarte de Rav Chia. How do we see this Rav Chia? Because Rav borrowed dinarim from Rav Chia's daughter. L'sof ayakar dinri. Later on, the coins went up in value. Okay, so he borrowed coins, and then the coins went up in value. So what happened? He went to Rav Chia to know what to do as far as repayment. Armalei say zil shlimla tavin utekilin. You should go back and you should pay her back the this significant amount. Now, if you want to tell me that gold is just like considered as currency, then that's the reason why he said that you should pay her back this amount. Because according to the understanding of the Gemara, there is no interest in the coins going, let's say, from 1,000 to, let's say, it went up to $1,500. Only you can buy more things with it. So therefore, it's allowed, because if we're talking about it, gold is just considered to be currency. So therefore, if the currency went up in value, that doesn't change anything, so you can still do it. But if you want to say that gold is like merchandise, you can't borrow a saw of wheat and then return a saw of wheat, because it's due to price fluctuations. Therefore, because of that, it's going to look like ribis, even though you're giving back the same thing that you returned, but it's saw b'saw, and therefore because it's nixika ribis, it looks like it's ribis if the value of, let's say, flour goes up. So therefore, when it comes to giving back the same amount, it's an issue when it comes to borrowing merchandise. It's not an issue when it comes to money, because when it comes to money, we don't say there's an issue of saw b'saw. It's not an issue of returning back the same money, but it's an issue of returning back the same money if it's not considered to be money, if it's considered to be like merchandise. So therefore it must be that gold is considered to be like money. So this is not necessarily. Rav Dinri Havile, he actually had other coins in his house. Vikivan de Havile Dinre, since he already had these coins before, but he just didn't have access to it, so he borrowed money because he couldn't get to the money in his house, but he already had this money. Nasik as though that he said to Rav Chia's daughter, Halveni, let me borrow your money, ad shiyavu bini o ad she'emsa mafteach, until my son comes or until I find my key. So he had the coins in his house, so he borrowed the coins, but it's like it was right away in the Malva's hand. It was like it was in Rav Chia's daughter's hand, even if maybe you hold it's pre, so it went up in her domain and not Rebbe's, and therefore it's not considered to be a case of sabasah. It's only sabasah if it went up in value, but it didn't go up in value until later on. And therefore, since he had the money, so he said the money's already there. That's your money, right? And therefore, if it went up in value, in her rishus. So therefore, it's not considered to be necessarily a raya that gold is considered to be money. It could still be merchandise. Question 8. Rab oizev dinrei v'oiker dinrei yasel kamid Rav Chia and mizil shlim tavin v'tiklin. So either because gold was considered to be money, the hava tivahavi, then hayoker b'hazol tolibo, there's no issue of up and down, or again, Rab Havile Dinri, he already had this money in his house. So again, that is the answer to that question, which probably is the same as TB1. Let's see what this says on Mem Dal Mebez. Zav Haya Kemamun Matbeya V'Loi Peri V'Oz in Iser Sabasa Rav Yeshul B'Toich Beisa Achshav V'Zek Kamoshe Hu Omer Himtin Ad Shietzi B'Ni L'Shama L'Kach Esam Avteach Shali. So mamish the exact same question, which is TB1. Okay, let's continue. Omer Rava Hai Tana Savar Dahava Tivahavi. This Tana is actually also going to hold, unlike our Mishnah, that gold is considered to be like money. The Sanya. Pruta Sh'amru, when we talked about a pruta, how much is that? That's Echad Mishmoyne B'Isra Hitalti, which is the same language as in the beginning of Masechtas Kedushin. L'may nafka min Kedusha Isha. So, as there was a machlokas Beis Sham Beis Hillel, exactly how much a person needs to give in order to marry a woman, which is the pruta, we now know it's 1/8 of an Italian Isser. Okay. Isser, an Isser is Echad Me'esrim V'Arba B'Dinner, is 1/24 of a dinner. Shel Kesef of silver. So my nafki min Mechlech Memcher business transactions, says Rashi. Machlo dinner b'yoysim esrim be'arba isar. And let's say you give a dinner which is more than 1/24 of an isar. Koma sha'al yeser al kain nis'ana loikeach. If there's any more than the loikeach benefits, v'im yesh ona shtus yachso ona. If it's more than a sixth, if there's more than a sixth, then you have to give back the oina. Dinner shel kesef, and this is the point we're going to bring over here. Dinner shel kesef, a coin of silver, echad me'esrim v'chamisha b'dinner shel zav. It's 1/25 of a golden coin. So a silver coin is 1/25 of a golden coin. L'may nafkamina l'pidyon haben. When it comes to redeeming your child, which is with 5 shkolim, and the shekel in the Torah is a sela, and a sela, Rashi says, is dal dinari kesef, is 4 silver coins, which is 20 dinner. V'im nasan lo avi haben dinner zav. If he gives him a golden coin, maso coin chamisha dinner kesef, then you should give him back 5 silver coins, right? So because it's equivalent to 20 silver coins, so if you give him 1 golden coin, that's equivalent to 25. so therefore he should get changed 5 silver coins. So if you want to tell me that gold is considered to be a coin, so Mishayr Tana b'midid kits, so therefore he's evaluating something which has a set amount. That's merchandise, Mishayr Tana b'midid oiker v'zil. Why would he use something in which goes up and down in value? Zimnin de mahadile kahana, zimnin moisifle. So maybe it may go up or down. Ihu de moisifle ihu kahana. It must be that since he's using this as a set amount, because the money remains solid as a set amount, it must be that gold is a set amount. Okay, Tanan Hasam. Beis Shammai Oimrim lo yasa adam saloyim dinri zahav. Beis Hillel matirin. So it's a machlokas which is brought down regarding the din of Meiser Sheni, whether a person is allowed to redeem his fruits. You can redeem your fruits if you're outside Yerushalayim, if there's a lot of them, onto money. And then once you go to Yerushalayim, you can purchase Meiser Sheni. You can, with this money, you purchase the Kedushas Meiser Sheni. What the din is, according to Beis Shammai, you can't transfer from silver coins onto golden coins, as silver is a currency, and you can't redeem currency onto merchandise. So according to Beis Shammai, it seems like the silver is money and the gold is merchandise, which is actually quite much like our Mishnah. Beis Hillel matirin, which seems to be, again, a raya against our Mishnah, that really what is gold? Gold is the money. And therefore, you could redeem it onto gold because gold is money. The whole machlokas is golden dinar onto golden coins. The Beis Shammai savri kaspa tiva v'dahava peri, but tiva a peri lo mechalina. The Beis Hillel savri kaspa peri dahava tiva, a peri tiva mechalina. So again, this is good for the whole machlokas possibly, whether or not gold is considered to be merchandise in relation to silver, or is gold considered to be the money in relation to silver? And therefore, the question is based on Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, similar to, again, the youth and old age of Rabbi, whether or not this, what stands. Which means our Mishnah actually sounds like Beis Shammai. Aval perois al dinarim, fruit onto golden coins. That's silver coins onto golden coins. But fruit onto golden coins, apparently that would work. My timer, maybe have a kesev lebeis hillel. It's like silver according to Beis Hillel. Kesev lebeis hillel after the kasva, like gabi to havi perahavi. However, even when it comes to silver, even though it's true according to Beis Hillel, silver and compared to gold, we say that silver is considered to be the merchandise and the gold is the money. Like gabi pera tivahavi. The silver is the coin next to fruit, right? So certainly, if we're dealing with, the whole question is coins to coins, gold to silver. However, when we're dealing with fruit to a coin, to gold or silver, then that silver or gold certainly should work. Zahav namli Beis Hillel Beis Shammai gold according to Beis Shammai. Avla da havi gabi kaspa pera havi gabi pera tivahavi. Again, he'll agree. So therefore, according to this Mandi Omer, that the machlokas is dafka coin to coin. However, if it's peros to coin, that's certainly not an issue. The chadar no afba peros al dinar machlokas. You may not even be able to redeem even fruit onto golden coins. So Mandi Omer afba peros, that even when it comes to fruits, al dinar machlokas, it's still a machlokas. So adamifli b'sloim al dinarim. Why are you arguing about coins to coins? Liflig b'peros al dinarim. Make a bigger chiddush that fruit. There's even a mandir that says that fruits onto golden coins it doesn't work. So if beparis al dinar mahavamina hanamil beparis al dinar, you think maybe that's the only time they argue is only fruits to golden coins. Of a beslaim al dinar, but silver to golden coins. Moedan Beis Hillel Beis Shammai, maybe he would agree that the havi gabi kaspa peri havi v'loy mechalin and kamash malon. You would think that actually Beis Hillel would hold, like Beis Shammai, that gold cannot be used. Therefore, we need to mention this as well, that it is indeed also there a machlokas. Question 9, then we'll stop. Beis Shammai Amrim lo yasa adam saloim dinner zahav. Mehem gimel hatamim shenemar begemara l'shitas Beis Shammai delo yasa saloim dinner zahav. Okay, 3 reasons. One is either because gold is considered to be the merchandise and not silver. And there's 2 other answers which we will not see until tomorrow's daf. Ad kan.